Hey, what is going on, guys? Pineapple Sway here. Today we'll be talking about the ending of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League and what it really means, since there really isn't a video out here describing the ending of the game and where it could possibly lead. Now knowing that, Rocksteady is making another Batman game, and I assume, future installments as well after Batman, we can sort of make an assumption of what does the ending of Suicide Squad really mean and where does it lead. One of the key things that I like to bring up first to prove to people that, Wonder Woman is alive is this audio log right here. Squad interview with Deathstroke, interview 8. I'm going to be playing this right here, and then we'll be talking more and then showing some other audio logs and sort of piece together, what does this ending actually mean for this pretty confusing game. So let's play this.
Alright, it's time to stop pussyfooting around. Let's talk about metahumans.
Aren't you a metahuman?
I'm enhanced. Honestly, Amanda, where did you find this guy?
Colonel Flag, that'll be all for now.
Director? Deathstroke?
This invasion worked out pretty well for you. You get the supers in your pocket. Well, maybe not Batman, he's too cagey. And Wonder Woman,
She's not an issue.
they say she was made from clay by the gods. You might want to keep an eye on that. Anyway, you get the League. Makes perfect sense.
So why are we having this conversation?
There's a piece of the puzzle I'm missing, and you know how I love cracking puzzles. Honestly, if you could send me back to that medieval world with a bunch of puzzles, I'd be happy. But it just seems odd to me. You talking successors and retirement when you're about to get everything you want.
How do you know what I want, Slade?
Experience.
Now, this is a pretty confusing audio log since it doesn't really give much, but from my interpretation and from what I understand, from what Rocksteady was trying to piece together, it seems like they kind of gave away that Wonder Woman is alive, and a big reason why Wonder Woman died and didn't return is because Warner Brothers didn't want two Wonder Womans in their game universe. Crazy, right? I don't understand that, but knowing that the Wonder Woman game is canceled and Rocksteady kind of threw this audio log in our face saying that, hey, Wonder Woman is still out there, it gives us that, sense of maybe she will return for a future game. Maybe not the next Batman game, but if there's a game after Rocksteady's next Batman game, maybe she'll be included. And it also brings up the fact that Waller wanted something to do with the Justice League. Not sure to what extent. Maybe she wanted them to be her own Task Force X, and maybe, having them corrupted and, not being able to do anything against her will, she could use them to do whatever she pleased. So sort of building that first part to the game's ending is Wonder Woman's obviously alive, and Waller wanted something to do with the Justice League, just not sure to what extent. Now, next on our list, which is a pretty big takeaway, I would say, from the game's ending, and really the main ending, is Brainiac Records Part 9, with Brainiac 13 joining Amanda Waller's new Suicide Squad. Now, in all honesty, I have no idea why she would want Brainiac on her Suicide Squad, but it seems like, to some extent, Waller sort of knew about Brainiac's invasion, and sort of wanted something to do with Brainiac's tech. With Brainiac's tech and whatever Brainiac may be doing, Waller could use that to her advantage, since we all know at the end of the day, Waller is really the true villain of this game, but it never really got explored. So, obviously the main takeaway from the game's ending is that Brainiac 13 joins the Suicide Squad, the new Suicide Squad, since we all know the Squad and the League left to go to a different universe, which I'll be talking about later on in another video probably of what that means and how that could sort of open up possibilities for something else entirely. But take a listen to this audio log in case you're unfamiliar or didn't actually get to see the ending of the comic strip of Brainiac joining Waller, basically being forced against his will to join the new Suicide Squad.
As riveting as this hour-long staring contest surrounded by your soldiers has been, I doubt this interrogation session will be one for the books, if it's nothing but silence.
I I'm not a fan of surprises, and your arrival was a surprise. Even more of a surprise is that you showed up alone.
Your felonious lackeys were very insistent that this meeting of the minds occur, then refused to provide an escort. Quite rude.
I'll send them to finishing school when I get them back. You really let them bring you this low?
Did you really not predict they would try to steal my ship? You have that Earthling saying about an infinite number of monkeys, correct? And I have gone through a seemingly infinite number of versions of you.
Oh, you haven't met a Waller like me, that's for damn sure. And if I were you, I'd be pissed that an Earthling took down my entire operation.
Many Earthlings, with several unpredictable mitigating factors, deteriorated the operations of my network.
Well, get used to being out of network in Bell Rev. No one knows you're here. Hell, no one even knows you. Maybe it'll stay that way. So, do you plan on cooperating or becoming a sample specimen?
Oh, Director Waller, I think we both know there are other, better choices here.
We're not so different, you and I. Is that it? Well, let me spell out the big difference. I'm in charge, and you've got a nanite bomb in your brainstem. Don't think about it for too long.
Now, this also brings up some confusion because throughout the story, Brainiac always talks about how he's running away from something, but we're not really sure what he was talking about, what he was referring to. Honestly, my assumption is maybe it was the Batman Who Laughs, maybe it was, the Dark Metal League, or maybe even Darkseid. So there's that as well. And, knowing that basically Waller sort of wanted Brainiac to win, she wanted the invasion to happen so that she could have the Justice League basically do her bidding and do whatever she wanted. Since, like what I said, I mentioned earlier, Waller is really the true villain of this game. But we also never got to see this play out. But, there's potential for, this could be reintroduced or this idea be brought up again in a future title. And knowing as well that, the Suicide Squad and the League sort of took off in Brainiac's ship to go through these different universes, there's a good possibility that when they're traveling universes, they might find something that they're not, supposed to, or they didn't mean to find, which I'm sure was the original plan for the game, because I'm sure that they could go to an entirely new universe and they stumble across none other than the Batman Who Laughs, or, a new corrupted Justice League, and possibly even Darkseid. There's a lot of potential here, but obviously it just didn't really get built upon. Now there's also this final audio log that I like to bring up that's relatively interesting in terms of the game's ending and sort of just the story in general. I don't really know what the reason is behind this, and this is really a bit of a reach, but something I always found interesting is that the Justice League had no idea that Brainiac was coming. Now, is there a reason behind that? Yes. Will we ever find out why that was? No, probably not. My guess is maybe it had something to do with Amanda Waller, but honestly, I have no idea. Knowing Amanda Waller's plan at the end of the game and towards the beginning of the game, it opens up the question of, why did the Justice League honestly have no idea that Brainiac was coming? You'd think with all their technology and all of their, what they've seen throughout the years, being able to fight the Sinestro Corps, as Batman mentioned in the main story, you would think that maybe they would have some preparation or just some overall awareness of Brainiac in the universe, but they had no idea who he was or how he even got to Earth, which is why, listen to this audio log right here, and that sort of explains, what I'm going towards, what I'm explaining, basically.
This Brainiac wants to open negotiations aboard his ship. It's a trap.
Agreed. That much is apparent.
I hear you both, but we have to go in good faith. What if I had come to Earth and...
Cal, buddy, let's be real. You didn't show up in a giant skull.
I didn't choose how I got here, Flash. Now, I'll admit it's not the most inviting presence, but if we can avoid fighting altogether, we owe it to the people of Metropolis to try. They know the strength of the League, everyone does. Now let's show them our heart, our compassion.
Our recklessness. We can't just leave Metropolis undefended.
We'll be in the thick of it, Bruce. Talks get nasty, we toss that thing right back into space.
We're in this together, gang. The 5 of us united, there's nothing we can't do. Let's show them our intentions.
You know what they say about good intentions, Clark.
So, that's really about it. That's just another thing that I like to add and throw in. Why did the League have sort of no preparation or no knowledge of Brainiac prior to, his invasion? It opens up a question of, were they sort of set up to fail, and was something else or someone else sort of wanting the League to fail in some capacity? Maybe Amanda Waller, I'm not entirely sure. But basically to sort of wrap it up in some, in a quick fashion of what exactly I'm talking about and what I mean, well, to put all of this together, Wonder Woman is obviously alive. Will we ever see her again in the Arkham universe? Probably not. Amanda Waller wanted something to do with the Justice League, possibly use them as her own slaves. Brainiac 13 is alive. No one knows he's alive and that he's existing, and he's now a part of the new Task Force X. And the Suicide Squad and the Justice League have sort of gone off the grid and are now universe hopping, which may lead them to find something of the great threat that Brainiac was running away from in the first place. Possibly Darkseid, possibly the Batman Who Laughs, we may not know. And that's basically the ending of Kill the Justice League, and summing it up in as a quick fashion, as quickly as I can. Anyways, this is Pineapple Sway. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. What do you guys think? Do you guys have any theories or anything that may allude to what this game's ending means? This is sort of my interpretation. I could be entirely wrong, but this is sort of how I took it. Anyways, this is Pineapple Sway. Peace out.